YouTube? It's your boy Brent, and welcome to the Porch. I got my usual suspects with me, Nakia, Fats, and Neek. And today I got a special guest, Rufus. Sorry, Rufus. Ru and Tia joining us today for these topics. So it's been almost a month and we've been kind of stagnant, so let's hop right into it. Fats, about 3 weeks ago you posted a question asking about, what was the question about?
He was talking about male reproductive rights.
Male reproductive rights.
And do we have?
So, let's start with the ladies on the panel. Male reproductive rights. Do they exist? Do we have?
Yes.
Let's start with the kid.
Yes, male reproductive rights do exist. Are they practiced? No. I think that men should have the same rights that women have when it comes to what they are allowed to do or how they are able to maneuver with a child. Because at the end of the day, it took two people to tango. So that's just my opinion, and I'm gonna leave it right there. T.
I think it starts from the beginning. So you make a decision before you need to lay down with somebody that you either gonna strap up or you not. And the chances of if you don't, then there's a 50-50 chance that she may get pregnant. So you make that decision before you even, before you even initiate it.
Ruth. Ruth.
Well, I think that it should be a 50-50 decision when it comes to reproduction, because just the whole decision of whether a child should be born into this world should be just solely upon a woman because she carries the baby.
Okay, let me take this before you pick up. I don't think male reproductive rights exist. Because if they did exist, like Rufus said before, it shouldn't be just a woman's decision whether this child is born into the world or not. So I don't think they exist.
I don't really care on the subject. I will say this. If Roe versus Wade is turned over, ain't nobody gonna have a say so in it. Everybody's reproductive rights will be up to the government, so I'll leave it right there.
Well,
that's thinking.
I'm gonna go back because that was a while ago when I was looking up this stuff. Because looking at male reproductive rights, I found out it's a such thing called legal abortion, where the man can legally say, "I don't want no parts of this baby," and the woman cannot come back with child support, cannot do anything because by law in America, the woman has every right over the child. A woman can decide as soon as she get pregnant, she can have an abortion. Nobody won't say nothing. She can give the baby up after having it. The next day, nobody won't break a sweat. Woman has the whole choice. But let's not forget that part. My main problem I have with having babies right about now is women don't protect the womb their own self.
This is true.
They do not protect the womb, but they want everybody else to protect the womb. I have a problem with that. Because old women back in the day taught women to protect themselves at all costs. You didn't need no protection. My mother, my grandmother, my great-grandmother taught them girls, before me, you.
Supposed to protect yourself.
Yeah, so if you ain't protecting your womb and just letting yourself have babies by whatever, I can't have a conversation with you. If you worry about the man protecting himself, you shouldn't talk to me. If you never put on a condom and they got it, if you have never worn a female condom and you refuse it, this conversation about women's rights.
You mean women's rights or women?
No.
Not women's rights.
Not women's rights.
No, not women's
The
rights.
reproductive rights.
Okay.
You can't have a conversation with me. If you have never protected your womb, can't talk.
Okay, my issue with this whole thing is this. Like you said before, if we decide to lay down, it's a 50-50 shot this is going to happen. But in the same token, if it did happen, and I said, you know what,
No.
I'm not ready for this.
Yes.
And then you said, no, I'm having it. I'm still legally responsible to take care of it. But you made the choice for both of our lives. See, and since you make the choice, it should only affect your life, but your choice affects both of our lives. So I had no say so over what's going to happen to my life because you made the choice.
Well, they make the scale is always going to tip in favor of the woman when it comes to
because it's set up like that.
Because it's
set up like that.
That's probably because he has to carry it.
That's not even the reason.
No, I think that's the real reason why they give the women the rights. It's because the women are the ones who have to physically.
Hold on, you talking about the
physically carry
you talking about the same? You talking about the same?
She's not gonna make it without him.
No, I mean I didn't say make the baby. I said carry it.
But to take it away,
she's the one that protects the baby. The baby is protected in a woman's womb.
The baby grows through the based on what the woman does.
The baby
the
grows.
man fertilizes the egg, but the woman's body is what helps grow and nurture that baby.
Right.
Now I would agree.
This is the whole point. What I'm saying is that we don't have any say so about whether we want it or not.
I would agree that if first of all, if I'm a woman, I'm in a situation with a guy, that's not my plight. If I'm in a situation with a guy and that happens and we get to a conversation and that person says, you know what, I'm not interested in fathering children, or I didn't want this part of it, I just wanted that part of it, I'll say, okay, I need for you, hold on, wait a minute, hold that thought, I'm gonna need for you to get documentation, you have to do paperwork. You're going to have to sign legally away every parental right that you have. I don't mean you just saying, I don't want to be a part. Because people have a tendency to come back when that child becomes something.
Exactly.
Or that's my legacy.
Right.
Or then they have a child that they want and the child ends up being disabled, but the child that they didn't want ends up being... I mean, people are fickle. Let's not play this game like they're not. But in that situation, I would agree. If both parties don't agree, to the person who agrees gets legal documentation that says you have forfeited your parental rights. That means you have absolutely zero say so in what happens with this child, the upbringing, the non-upbringing, who's around them. You relinquish all your rights and clear it up right there. I don't agree.
But can I ask you a
That's
question?
what I would do.
But the way the law is set up, you will have two young individuals. Both of them do not want children. However, the young lady decides to have the baby.
Then she wants children.
Okay, not necessarily, because sometimes circumstances may call for her finding out late that she's pregnant. Circumstances,
adoption agencies.
Circumstances may cause for religion purposes.
Purposes.
Circumstances may call. It's given the circumstances.
It's not a black and white situation.
It's not even a black and white situation. But
it really
when you take a young man and then you take that young lady, however, this is the way the law is set up. She might accept the simple fact he doesn't want children. I'm willing to accept the responsibility of raising this child on my own.
Yeah.
This is what I accept as a young lady. Yeah. I don't need him. He wasn't right for me anyway.
Yeah, whatever the case may be.
Well, going about your business, you wasn't right for me. You were abusive. But me, I'm going to take care of this child that you and I have. I don't want anything from you. I don't want any money. But as soon as she needs money from the state,
the state will make
the state is going to make her look for this guy that she doesn't even want to look for. That's the way the law is set up. But if you sign the legal
documentation that I was talking about, that alleviates any legal obligation that the man has.
For the man.
That's held up in the court.
But how many women don't come and say,
a lot of states
we'll
don't
sign your
offer
rights away? Because they're not going to say sign rights away because they can get child support.
Then as a man, I would put the papers up. The second you find out, you have legal rights. The second, if they believe that life starts at
a lot
conception,
of young men don't understand that whole
you can't keep blaming the women if you're not going to understand what your rights are exercising.
If we both say, if we can agree,
it's deeper than that.
If we can agree 50-50. See, to me, it's a way bigger issue than just responsibility at this point. It's about upbringing. It's about a whole bunch of things. It's about circumstances. Because
you're asking for a 19-year-old to sit down and dissect legal paperwork saying that. A lot of them don't understand that.
No, I agree with you that it's not. But what I'm saying.
There we go. That's where I'm going to.
I'm like, why would we worry about the episode? Forget my thing. That's why I started at the beginning. That's why I started at the beginning.
Why we having sex?
I was like this.
What's the
Sex has been happening
The first thing I said was
I agree with that.
women do not protect the womb.
Yeah.
We are animals.
That conversation should start there.
Let me explain something to you about that.
then
And this is just my opinion.
I'm off there right now because there's.
You off what? You didn't even know what to say. What you off?
No. It's what T said. Because when I started talking about the women don't protect the womb, what we need to talk about the man for right now? Because we already know the man was already to blame for the baby anyway.
I don't think so.
No,
That's how you
I'm
interpret. Why
talking-
is it blame?
blame.
I don't think
No,
it's a
but
blame.
that's how it's been since I was a youngin'.
Well, I'm
until
sorry that
adult.
you've interpreted that
Well,
way.
no,
I
okay,
think-
wait.
It's your fault because you wasn't
I
protected.
think we can agree. I think we can
Yo,
agree.
you got a point there.
It's
You
your
got
fault
a
the
point
car
there.
was busted. It's
I
like,
think we
that's
can
the
agree.
hurt.
I
That's the
think
hurt.
we can agree. We can tell that obviously somewhere in our world that we find men at fault sometimes for pregnancies. Why? Because there are not a lot of laws about what the woman can't do. We can do everything when we're pregnant, when we want to have a baby. If we decide, oh, I don't want nothing to do with you, but I need money, I can go to the court. I can now pull you up.
Yes.
So we
That's
can
how dog it is for
say,
us.
we can
Yes.
say that men do kind of get the shitty end on the stick.
Yes, we do because
They do.
it'll be it can be an agreement.
I believe that black men get the shitty end.
We do. That's
don't
another.
believe that
We're gonna get into
You
that.
can't because you can't say that because.
I don't believe that white men get the
Hold on,
shitty end
Nick,
stick.
Nick, how you think the laws is made the way it was made?
White men to take their kids from these women.
Hold on, Nick.
We seen it happen all the time.
Nick, how was these laws made these ways? It was made for white men to be protected.
You talking about somebody who raised?
That's in divorce.
You
They
talking
usually get
about?
married to
Okay,
their marriage percentage.
let's start with this. You
talking
looking
about
at?
divorce,
Okay,
though.
me and my
We're
wife.
talking about children out of wedlock.
Yeah,
okay.
You talking about children out of
Yeah,
wedlock.
For
you think
instance-
these laws was made for black people?
For
Hold
instance,
on.
Nate.
Hold on.
For
But
instance,
made against them, yes.
So let him go.
my wife and I, when my ex had a drug issue, my wife and I took my two girls when they were children and raised them.
Right.
We did not ask for money.
Of course.
We did not ask for
Support in any
anything.
way.
Support. It was a struggle throughout the years for us to raise them. That was a decision that my wife and I made. Now, we wasn't able to get food
I was
stamps.
just about to say that.
Were we? We wasn't able. We
bet.
all these years we struggled to feed them two girls, plus us.
Because they're
You talking about somebody? I was working there. We wasn't able to get food stamps. We never went to the court system to ask them for it because it's just too much. Because the scale is tipped
In her
towards
favor.
her favor. Now here I am, somebody that took.
Except you, is she married?
No,
No.
Except y'all were married.
Yeah, we were.
no, we wasn't married at the time.
But you were together. And in the eyes of the courts, seeing a whole situation, especially you being the father,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it would have worked in your favor in that situation because that is a rarity to them.
Right.
So they would have threw everything at you. And the second thing is, did you ever make her, has she ever signed over her parental rights?
No.
No.
That
We never took her to court.
Well, see, that would have been the issue because
Yeah.
the moment that you went to court, they would have made her sign over the rights.
But Nick,
But
we
yeah,
made it.
I took my
but see,
son over to court and won in court.
Yeah.
Won with the court. But she didn't show up for court.
Yeah.
She didn't show up.
I mean, you can get if a parent
but she
is shitty-
willingly
But if a parent
was
is
giving us all the parental
But
rights
if,
that we needed.
but if I mean, kudos to her because in one sense, if you know that you are not the better suited, please
Yeah.
make the best decision for the
And
children.
she did. She
Take
did.
your
In a lot of
emotions
cases.
out of
She
it and make the best decision for your children.
Right.
But back to what you saying. Yes, it's a reality that the scales are imbalanced in that way. But let me explain something to you in this world that you live in. The scales for us are far more imbalanced than everything else. You explain in one situation, and yes, it's a shitty situation. Just stop having sex until you're ready to find somebody you want to have a baby with. That goes for everybody,
Yeah.
both men and women. But they're not going to do that because the animal in us, the mammal in us, the heat is on. And it's hard to resist that one temptation. And that's a temptation that we all have.
That wasn't my beef about it. That wasn't my beef.
Hey, look, it don't become a temptation after you do it the first time.
Yes.
Hey, look. And then it's like crack.
No, I mean, but the pressure beforehand.
Sex doesn't
I mean-
always have to involve reproduction.
No,
I mean,
Yes, it does.
No,
You
no,
gamble
no,
with it.
no,
You
no.
gamble. You
You
gamble.
gamble. Sometimes,
That's a
I mean,
gamble.
doesn't always have to and does when you lay down and you find somebody attractive and you wanna have sex
Consensual.
You want to have sex
You
with her.
still taking a
that
risk.
doesn't mean I'm
Because
laying
condoms
down
break.
and I wanna have
Condoms
a child with you.
No, it doesn't. But if,
Like that, yo.
but if you are a consensual
In fact, some people have 400
If you
kids.
with a guy, I'm with you. If a man does not want to have a kid and a woman proceeds with a kid, there should be laws protecting him for being responsible.
So should I meet a woman and go out on a date?
Yeah.
We at Fridays getting some wings. And I'm like, yeah. So what you like? So I was thinking we leave here, go back to your place, and maybe have a son. Is that how it's gonna go? Is that the because that's what you said, nigga.
Hey, bro.
It's the same shit though, nigga.
That's
Hey,
just how I sound when I'm like, girl.
Yeah, you wanna go? I say we go back watch it on Netflix. And maybe go have one, baby.
Well, excuse me.
In this new era, I've heard it all.
And maybe go have one, baby.
I've heard people say.
Hey, bro, watch a little Netflix.
I've heard people talk on the phone for the first time. Young people talking on the phone on the first. I've heard this, and they talk about, oh, you know what our baby would look like. I've heard this.
Are you serious?
I've heard people have these. So we talking about a whole different situation. Like he has said, we get into the sense of how are we rearing our children and what are we instilling in them as far as what values are with self-respect. Because the worst thing that happens to you is not having a kid, to be honest.
It's not.
You can just end up with just having a kid with the wrong son of a gun.
Right.
On both ends of the table. A dude can get a crappy chick, and a chick can get a crappy dude.
And I've also seen educated, nice looking, shitty
knows no
fathers.
boundaries.
Yeah,
It
I've
knows
seen
no
some
boundaries.
very nice looking,
It
well
knows-
educated,
It knows
well
probably
grounded,
had no
crappy
father,
dads.
bitch asses.
You
Yeah.
know,
I mean,
it doesn't take you to be successful to be a
No, I don't
crappy
think
dad,
that
you know,
behavior
really,
knows
so.
no bounds.
Right.
I think that you can
Yeah,
get that behavior.
some people just aren't parents.
Some people
Yeah.
just not meant to be parents.
But I
It's
do
just that
think,
simple.
back to Ruth's point, I do think that there needs to be more, men need to be able to feel that they have a say more. Because to your point, your situation, you didn't take her to court,
Well, my
but
wife
you
and
should
I
have
felt-
felt like you could have.
Well, my wife and I felt as though we were going to be fighting. I'm glad you touched back on that. My wife and I felt as though the energy that we were going to be putting into trying to squeeze blood out of the turnip for one.
Got it.
You know, you're trying to get, $1 out of somebody who's only worth a nickel.
Got
Yeah.
it. Got it.
So, you
But the
can't-
idea that men don't think that they can, though.
Of course.
But what energy, when you looking at a nickel and you need a
Yeah.
dollar,
Yeah.
how much energy are you
feel
going
I
to
think
put
every case
into this
is.
nickel?
I think every case
It's-
is different. In
it-
our case, we didn't
it wasn't
feel like
worth it
it
when
was
it
worth
wasn't worth
it.
it, yeah.
It wasn't
And
worth
I-
it.
That's what I mean.
But
It just
in-
meant-
in
it just
my
At the
case-
end of the day, she
it-
didn't work.
Right.
She never had a job while we were raising the girls. So it
So that
wasn't
wasn't
really
even
worth
worth
it.
it.
It was nothing to
And
do
in my
with
case, they offered me child support.
And it would have been taken
Want
away
child
from
support.
her.
I'm like this. She don't work.
Right.
What's the point? You know?
Yeah.
That's just
But
what
it's the
Yeah, I'm
ideal,
like, no,
though.
she
I'm
don't
saying
work.
the ideal. Overall, men usually never really think that they have.
But listen to this. That just goes to show how much vendetta plays a part in
Yeah.
a lot of women's decisions. Being vindictive, opposed to just wanting what's best for the guy. If I lay down with the woman, like me and my wife, I do remember we've always wanted what was best for the kid's mom. That was just being a good.
No, I always wanted what was best for the kids.
Well, you know what I mean. We wanted, but what was best for her was best for the girls. Her doing good.
I got
I'm trying to put it in a way.
I understand what
Well,
you're
not
saying.
like team her.
I know what you
I know what you're
saying.
saying.
You
Because he like, it wasn't that smooth.
Even at that, even at
That
that,
seemed like
even
it was
at that
a
children
long
part, children have an attachment to their biological
They
parent.
do.
So I think that's what he means in that regard.
Right.
Because
I agree.
even still,
Look at that bailout.
regardless, they don't see.
No, I'm joking.
They don't see
They don't
everything
see
behind the
it.
They don't
scenes.
see everything
What
behind
y'all
the
know. They don't see what you know.
Exactly.
Right.
They don't see
Right.
everything behind the
So
scenes.
yeah, it did kind of save face for her.
we
guys
did
They don't see behind
we
the
did
curtain.
protect her situation a lot
Yeah.
to try to further protect the girl.
Exactly. She benefited
So-
from that.
Exactly.
It
So
benefited everybody in in the long run.
I agree.
When they were younger, it's a lot of things that we didn't bring to the forefront in front of the girls because of
they have to make
the way we wanted them to view her.
Yeah.
So
They have to make
that's
those
what I
decisions
meant
on
by
their
that
own.
statement.
Yeah.
We wanted what was best for her in the sense of, you know, we wasn't really into painting an ugly picture of someone. It takes a lot of energy
It does.
to put into trying to tear someone down.
Yeah.
It takes
does.
energy,
but
and that's energy
it
that
takes
you
the more energy to protect them, too.
True,
But
yeah,
protecting them was the right thing to do.
It
Because, like I
was.
say, it's no reason
Children
to pull
will
the
make
curtain
their
back
own
and
decision
show the
about
kids
who
what's
people
going
are.
on.
They
you know?
know as
You
a
know
young
what else
Right.
they'll do? They'll actually look at you at how you protected them. That's one of the beauties of it as well. That they not only will look at, okay, this person
The
was
level
the
of
issue.
respect that
They'll
they'll
look
have
at
for
the
y'all
person who
forever.
actually protected them and say, well, damn, out of all of this, they made sure I didn't see X, Y, and Z.
Right.
So that's another great respect level as well.
Okay, moving on fast. What's next?
All
What do
right,
we got?
well, you know what?
That's right.
That was good. Now,
Uh-oh. See?
let's go to Nakia. I'm saying that household is kicking out some ideas. Nakia, you stated men, and there's three of us in there, don't like women. Can you please elect? I like women. You like women?
Okay.
Wait,
You like
I-
women? You know what I'm saying? You like women. You like women. I think you like
So let me explain what I mean by men
Indubitably.
don't like women.
Okay, go on.
Oh, nah.
I'm going to speak from a perspective of black men because I've only dealt with black men. That's
Fair.
all I know.
That's fair.
On a macro level, on the outside looking in,
Damn. Okay.
black men do not ride for black women. Why don't they ride for black women? Because before they can ride for us, they gotta question us. They gotta tell us what we should have done when they told us not to do it. They gotta bring up all this other past shit about what her characteristics are. Her characteristics are. And therefore, on a macro level, black men don't fuck with black women. But here's another thing.
I'm gonna get in your ass.
I also made this statement.
It's fine.
I also made this statement just a couple of days ago. Black men are just like white people when it comes to black women.
Jeez.
I agree.
They are individualistic
Woo!
as a
I don't
mother
even
father.
drink. I stopped
What
drinking.
do I mean by that? What do I mean by that? If a whole slew of black women are walking down the street and a dog starts attacking all of them, they helping the one they fucking know first. It's going on a macro level. They only help who the fuck they know, who the fuck they comfortable with, because on a macro level, they are not going to ever look like they care about us enough to actually protect us without question, without doubt. We could be wrong as hell. You will not protect us, but what black women will do, we will stand in front of y'all, whether y'all wrong or right. We know y'all drawers dirty, we know y'all ain't shit. But to everybody else, we don't want everybody else thinking y'all ain't shit.
Exactly.
We do not want anybody else to say anything bad about black men. Why? Because y'all been turned. Chivalry is real. Chivalry was a thing. Even if we say it's dead, chivalry is dead. Okay, it's gone.
But what they
Where
got
the
to
fuck did it
But
stop
the
at?
initial principle,
But that's what I'm saying. We
we're
don't
trying to
care for one
understand.
another.
What
We
we're
don't
trying to
care for one another
understand is
the
we
same.
don't give a fuck about the reality definition, fam.
I look, and I
This
don't
is-
even know when to stop here.
But what chivalry got to do with not caring about women?
Damn.
I didn't
We
say
hold up. We
I never said that.
hold the conversation just shifted.
Didn't I just say he bring it back to women? I never
The
said that.
conversation just shifted.
Yeah.
We weren't talking about that.
We weren't
She
Women don't think they should know they
she
know.
mentioned the comment when we were talking about women and Rufus was speaking. She mentioned chivalry is dead.
Yeah.
And then you said, "Well,
You
I'm
assume.
tired of that phrase. I'm tired of that sentiment.
Yeah.
Tell me what chivalry is." And then she was asking you, "Well, what do you think chivalry
But why
is?"
should that always be the thing that when you ask questions like, because maybe I want to know where she's coming from and not what I already
Well, you the
know.
one who
Well, we got
challenged me,
that,
though.
but you challenged
You
her.
challenged
What
me
does that mean?
first.
Well,
What
wait,
does that
but
mean?
you ain't even finished your statement.
Yeah,
Oh.
and I get it.
I get it. Everybody cutting you off. I get it. Okay, so now
Are
we
we taking a break?
Yes, you need to take a
I need to take a break because I've been
You
calling
need
the
to
whole
take
time.
a
It's been the whole.
Tell everybody else to do like you do at home. Tell me to shut the fuck up.
But
I'm ready to
I'm
talk.
supposed to be respectful though, right? You say you want me not to show off.
But you're not even giving the example the way you wanted to give it.
Y'all do know this was still in there, right? Y'all do know that ended this out.
But where was the person to do that though, Fats?
Go get the kids.
Like you gonna get mad because ain't nobody do fucking 1 minute? Ain't nobody do fucking 1 minute.
Well, this got a little heated. Thanks for watching the Porch. You can follow me at Brent Porch on Twitter and Brent_Porch on Instagram.
This Porch crazy as shit.
You got thanks to our special guest, Rue and G. You got Neek and Kia and Fast storming off somewhere. So thanks for watching. See y'all next time.